Hello, and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and today we are back, and we have a very interesting video for you guys today. This is a interview with the lead of development for Touge1995, and I'm going to be going over a few different things with him about the game, asking him some questions. If you guys want me to ask him anything else, make sure you ask your questions down in the comments below, and I would love to do a follow-up interview with him later on as this game gets closer to releasing the demo. But without any further ado, I'll go ahead and get straight into the interview. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I will talk to you guys at the end of the video. Move right on past those and just talk about the game itself. So, the basis again for Touge1995, what are the physics that you are working with?
So the physics engine that I'm using is one that's an open source for Unity. It's called Random Nation, and basically what I'm doing is I'm editing it. It's loosely based, and the overall physics style is similar to Dirt 3. It's a kind of simcade style. At the moment, on the physics, what I'm doing is implementing body roll. For the general part of the game, you are better off going into a corner that's, say, a wide corner with grip, but then you are rewarded for drifting around a small corner.
Gotcha.
So that, yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense, because if you're, it makes a lot of sense actually, like in, you know, concerning like how you would see, you know, how you would see people actually race a hill climb or race a mountain pass. You're not going to see people necessarily drifting high-speed sweepers, but if you've got back-to-back hairpins, you're going to want to whip each hairpin one after the other.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what we're looking for when we were designing physics. That's what we want the player to be rewarded for.
Yeah, cool. So, and then the cars themselves, they're not licensed, correct?
No, they're loosely based off the design, but they're not licensed. So what we did is we made our own manufacturers. So say some manufacturers might have a reference to where the copied manufacturer is based in. So there, you know, there's references, but for all of it, it's made up ourselves.
Cool. So I mean, and people are going to basically people are going to get the references. So and that's as far as I'm going to go on that. Is people are going to get the references. And I know you have some pretty cool stuff in store for the game in terms of you know, cars wise and what cars are referenced cars wise, but. I know you've done a couple of different things where you've showed like maybe a reference to kind of MX-5 style cars, and then maybe references to like old 86 type thing, but I won't get any more into cars than that because I know you probably want to do a lot of that car revealing stuff yourself. But in terms of story, what are we looking at in terms of story? Because I know you had said the last time we talked that this was all very story-driven game, but expand upon that. Tell me more about that.
Okay, so the premise of the game is that you are a racer in Japan, and you've just bought your first car. When you are introduced to the game in the full game, you choose from 4 cars. The whole story is that you must uphold your father's legacy, who died when he was racing on the Touge. So you'll interact with people that may have known your father. It's very similar to GTA 5 in that you dictate how the game plays, or when the missions you can drive up to a point. So in the game there might be you complete a race, and then while you're driving around cruising, you might get a phone call saying the next part, and that will correlate with the story. So as it drives on, you dictate the pace. So in between the story, you can also do what you want, but for the most important part, it works like that, in that you drive up to meets, you race, and then, you know, as a result, something will happen, and the story evolves like that.
Cool, that's awesome. And I'm assuming you have your own integrated money system as well, correct?
Yeah, so we have like a XP and reputation system, and we integrated that a lot to the customization feature of the game. So basically, some items you have to have a certain level of XP. It doesn't just mean that you can just have all the money you want and then buy it. You have to have the XP too. And for some things, there might be, say, for example, a certain turbocharger that would only be available for a certain amount of time. So that incentivizes you to, you know, get the money, get the reputation, and once you've gained all that money, then you can purchase it. But if you don't do the task that will allow you to get the money within the time, then you don't get the turbo.
Gotcha. So that makes complete and total sense, and I think it's a really cool idea. And to touch back on cars for a second, how many cars are we looking at here, like in total of the entire game, the entire garage? How many cars do we have access to?
So in the demo itself, you have 22, and for the full game, we're looking at a total of 150 to 200. So basically, we've split the cars from a 50-50 split from the old Japanese cars and the 90s racing, the ones that you'd most associate with, like with Initial D, for example. So we're kind of, that's kind of where we're looking in cars. It's a diverse car. It's not just all sports cars. There's sedans, there's utility vehicles, there's SUVs. It's kind of just the complete JDM.
Really?
Yes, there is. Yeah. So it's like we just wanted to kind of include. So it's not just this, the one focus. It gives you an authentic feel of what the time when these cars were made.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I didn't even realize that SUVs were going to be in the game. That's kind of cool. I'm curious as to how they're not gonna, like, I'd be worried they'd flip over. But is there any focus being placed on multiplayer right now from the kind of the first party developer side?
At the moment, no, I don't have an intention to, but again, like I'm really open to anything. So as the development of the game goes on, and if I get enough requests and the resources are available, then for sure I'll definitely be open to multiplayer. But again, it won't just be a thing where it'll be instant. I'd have to integrate it into the story itself.
Right, because I remember the last time we talked, you said you like to be in-depth and detailed about how you make your games. You don't just like to build a generic ladder system and then just put it out. Would you say that's pretty accurate?
Yeah. So I don't just want to, have like you just race around. There needs to be like some idea that there's a mechanic that you can race with someone. So say, for example, you develop a team and then you conquer the story by yourselves within that team and all the players. So basically, I wouldn't want a multiplayer system just for the point that we have multiplayer in the game. It needs to do something that actually changes the game, and it's a different experience for the player.
Right, and I think that also, since it's a free roam game, or a free roam based game, I think you would also have to have that dynamic of maybe you don't want to necessarily race on a given day or night or whatever. You just want to go and like drive the mountains with your friends and then all park up and take pictures. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. So again, that's, if I was doing that with the multiplayer, it's something that I'd really want to integrate, and I think even single player, there's an element of, the aesthetic of the game itself is pleasing. So, you take photos of your car up there, you've customized the car, you choose the location, it looks, that's how I want it
Absolutely, too. Well, I was going to ask you about, like, in general, I'm sure there's going to be a photo mode, correct?
Yeah, for sure. Just like a screenshot, and then in the menu you can access all the screenshots. It's not that hard to implement. So even for the demo, I think we're gonna have.
Well, that would be awesome, because I think the community will be able to really dive into it and get hands on with not only with the game, but how everything works with like the visuals, and they'll be able to kind of share their little adventures that they've been having. So that's really cool. But also in the demo, how much customization is going to be allowed? Is it going to be like maybe a quarter or half of what we get in the full game?
Well, in terms of aftermarket parts, we won't have the same number, but all the features that you'll have in the full game will be there. So say there might not be as many, like, say, for example, rear bumpers for a certain car, but in terms of how the mechanics of the customization and all the individual features, they'll all be present. It's an area that I've focused on development highly within the customization.
Cool. And so what are we looking at as far as a demo release, like a vague demo release date? I don't think you have an exact nailed down date yet, but...
No, so we'd be looking at around Q1 of 2018, late Q1. So I'm working towards development at the moment of that. So I've split like each individual element of development, and so once I had got all that together, we're looking at the moment for a roadmap of 2018 late,
maybe around Q1 2019 ish.
Yeah. So it's a, like as I mentioned the last time we gave this go, basically I'm not set on a full date for the final game. I'm kind of focusing more on having a complete game rather than rushing a game for a certain date to please people. I think in the end that's just ruins the whole point of making the game. I want to have something that, means something to the player. It's something that has replayability. It's something that I just want.
Are you considering doing are you gonna keep up with it in terms of like, oh, I see this going on here, I see that going on here, this gets an update or that gets an update?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the open world games, it's something that always will be, no matter what I do, there'll always be something that I'm gonna have to improve on. So as I have as the player base assembles, I'll be able to get feedback on what people think, if something needs balancing, if a certain area needs more development, if they ideas. So especially when I'm talking in Discord, this is one of the most important elements of the development, is that every time I'm doing something, I'm getting some community feedback. Thus, it forms a game that the community wants. And
I think we covered everything this time that we did the last time before we had our little technical difficulties. But hope you all did enjoy the interview. If you did, make sure you go and check the game out. It's very, very interesting. I'll put a link to all of his stuff down in the description box below, so make sure you check out literally everything around this game. I am very excited for it. I can't wait. But like I said before in the beginning of the video, I hope you guys did enjoy this quick interview. Make sure you do leave me a like and tell me in the comments below if there's anything else you want me to ask the developers for this game. I, again, am extremely excited for it, and I cannot wait to see this game come into its own. So if you guys did enjoy, make sure you subscribe for more. I post videos every single day, and I'll see you all next time. Talk to you guys later.